If you've missed any of the earlier episodes of the Great Tastes series and want to see the shows and get all the recipes, go to greattastesmb.ca. Watch them when you want to watch them.
We're celebrating Canadian ingredients tonight with Manitoba beef producers. We have Adriana Finley with us this evening. And during the break, you mentioned, was it a cute story as to the origin of poutine? So why don't you start by sharing that?
Sure. So poutine originated in Quebec in the 1950s, and it all started in a little snack chip shop. And a gentleman walked in and said he wanted some cheese on his fries, and the chef kind of proclaimed like, "What, you're gonna make a mess out of those fries?" And in French, and I guess slang Quebecois, poutine means mess.
Oh, really?
So that's kind of where it started. It caught on. They added the gravy a little bit later to melt to the cheese and keep the fries warm.
Sure.
So that's just how, you know, it came about. It's a bit of a
Well, it's a lovely mess is what it is. So we're gonna make our own version of that tonight.
That's right. And so our star of our poutine is going to be a meal-style poutine. We're doing a pulled beef on top. So we're actually using a previous recipe from greattastesmb.ca.
Right, yeah.
It's my grandma Rosa's pot roast.
That's a very special one for you.
Yes. So it's her recipe. It's on the website, so you can recreate it. We're using a different cut of meat this time because we want it to be a pulled beef. So we're actually using a boneless blade roast.
Okay.
So that's found from the chuck or shoulder area. So if you see that on the label, you're buying the correct cut.
I was about to say, I guess you could use like leftover roast, but maybe not. Like maybe you need a particular cut to really make the...
Well, you could use leftover roast if you wanted to cut it up into small pieces, but if you wanted the sort of the shredded look, you can get this from a blade roast or a cross rib roast.
Okay.
Those would be the two that you'd want to prepare. So this is actually the cut of meat here. So this is a boneless blade roast, and so you would just put this in your slow cooker or in your roasting pot in the oven, and it's cooked in a braising method, meaning that you just cook with liquid, so beef stock or wine, or
just kind of let it go. And
exactly.
Okay.
So very easy to do and make ahead.
Before I started being involved with Great Taste of Manitoba, I'll be honest, like homemade gravy kind of like scared me, terrified me. It's not hard, and so this, and you don't even necessarily need the beef drippings, right, to make this.
No, you don't.
Helps, but
you don't at all. But if you want to, if you're making a pot roast ahead of time and you have those extra cooking liquids,
why not?
They're perfect for making gravy. So we're starting off our homemade gravy with a roux. So a roux is just butter and flour, and I added here some shallots and garlic. And so this is just cooking off, and we want it to brown a bit. So that's cooking the flour off, so you don't really taste that.
It smells extraordinary.
So it does anything with butter and shallots and garlic.
You can't really go wrong.
Exactly, you really can't.
Okay.
So I'm going to turn this up just a little bit here, and we're going to add our cooking liquid. So this is our cooking liquid here from our pot roast.
Okay.
But you can of course use beef stock, or I think beef stock would probably be best as a substitute here. I'm also adding, so you can see that this comes together really instantaneously.
It thickens very quickly.
It does. So I'm adding some beef consommé. So this is another very robust beef flavor, as well as another natural thickener.
Just maybe a silly question. What's the difference between beef stock and beef consommé?
Consommé has more of the gelatin left in from the cooking bones. So when you're making a stock, you're using the cooking bones usually, right? Like a soup bone. And so this has more of the gelatin or the marrow that's left in the product.
Okay.
So it acts as a nice binder, a thickener, and it also has fantastic beef flavor.
Okay, well that's critical. So that's essentially, oh wait, you're not done, you have the Worcestershire.
I'm just gonna add a little of the Worcestershire sauce. So just 2 teaspoons. Ish, yeah, just a little more, a little less, depending on your palate. And this just simmers, and it'll thicken a little bit, and come together quite easily.
I'm going to start building this a bit while you're finishing that.
Oh yeah,
just so we
absolutely.
kind of get a sense. And you were talking earlier about how it's, you know, we're really going for sort of a meal kind of quality to
Yes, so
this.
we're using fry wedges, but you can certainly use your favorite cut of French fries. But it's just a layering technique. So we have there the pulled beef,
Yep.
a little bit of the cheddar cheese
All right, and to
curds.
get that gravy on there,
And here we have some of our prepared gravy. So
Tra-la.
there we go.
I don't have a fork, so I'm just going to do the rude thing here. And let me just, I particularly want to get a taste of this gravy.
So there you go, all homemade and delicious.
Absolutely fantastic. Can't wait to see what Erin Alblas is going to pair everything with here with beverage pairings when we come right back on Great Taste of Manitoba.
You're watching Great Tastes of Manitoba, brought to you in part by Manitoba Agriculture,